You're welcome to Biblical Questions and Answers session. Who was the wisest man in the Bible? King Solomon. What is the Great Commission? Jesus' command to go and make disciples of all nations. Which verse in the Bible contains all the letters of the alphabet except J? Ezra chapter 7, verse 21. Which biblical figure had a bed made of iron? King Og of Bashan. Who tied forces' tails together and set them on fire? Samson. Which disciple was a tax collector? Matthew. Who killed a giant with 6 fingers and 6 toes? Jonathan, David's nephew. What does Ichabod mean? The glory has departed. Who preached to dry bones? Ezekiel. Which prophet cooked his food over dung? Ezekiel. What city did God destroy using fire and brimstone? Sodom and Gomorrah. What Bible character lost all his children and wealth in one day? Job. Who climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus? Zacchaeus. What does the number 666 represent in Revelation? The number of the beast. What is the shortest chapter in the Bible? Psalm 117. Which king went mad and lived like an animal? Nebuchadnezzar. What was Paul's original name? Saul. Who were the only people who didn't die in the Bible? Enoch and Elijah. What part of Goliath did David cut off? His head. What plant did God use to shade Jonah? God used a vine or God? Gourd. Which king consulted a witch? King Saul. What river was Jesus baptized in? The Jordan River. What does Abba mean? Father. Who had a talking donkey? Balaam. Which book contains no punctuation in the original Hebrew? Psalms. What's the only commandment with a promise? Honor your father and mother. Who was the first murderer? Cain. Who was turned into a pillar of salt? Lot's wife. How many times did Peter deny Jesus? 3 times. What Bible verse is located at the exact center of the Bible? Psalm 118, verse 8. Which gospel is not one of the synoptic gospels? John. What biblical figure had a coat of many colors? Joseph. What does Emmanuel mean? God with us. What food did God provide in the wilderness? Manna and quail. Who was the first person to see Jesus after his resurrection? Mary Magdalene. Which apostle walked on water? Peter. How many years did the Israelites wander in the desert? 40 years. Who was the oldest person in the Bible? Methuselah. He lived 969 years. Which psalm is known as the Shepherd's Psalm? Psalm 23. What was Jesus' first miracle? Turning water into wine. What prophet was fed by ravens? Elijah. Which king had a dream interpreted by Daniel? King Nebuchadnezzar. What was the occupation of Luke the evangelist? Luke was a physician. Luke was a physician. Thank you for being part of today's questions and answers. Please share, comment, and follow us on this page. Thank you for watching.